Knowledge is power. If you don't know, you don't know. But if somebody teaches you, then you can get more power over yourself. Every day is a gift. When you're strong, I believe it's our duty to serve. That's why we're in this world that we are.
Welcome to I Share Hope, the podcast where world leaders share their real stories of hope and how you can use actionable hope to start changing your life today. And now, here's your host, Chris Williams.
Okay, top of the morning, Chris.
Top of the morning, Mina.
Can you hear me? Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I'm with Skype.
I can hear
how do we
you.
do the volume?
Yeah?
Volume. I say volume. Hold on. What? What's this? What's this button? Okay, how do I turn the volume up?
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. Okay, there we go.
Great. And
There you go. Hello.
hello, can you hear me?
I got it. Yes. Hello.
Okay. And do you have video on yours or not?
Yes, I can see you and I can hear you. And this is my Dougie.
I can't see you. Let's see here.
Oh, crap.
There's probably, if you hover over the screen, some little buttons pop up at the bottom of my Skype screen anyway. And
Yes, on the bottom, yeah.
one has a little video icon, and yours probably you have a line through yours. There you go. Oh, look at that.
Okay.
There you are. Are you on your phone?
Yes, I'm on my phone.
Nice.
This is the Dougie.
Oh.
Saved my life.
What is his name? His or her name?
This is Royce. My sweet.
Royce.
Like Rolls Royce.
Like Rolls, yeah. You get a Rolls, yeah.
We call him Killer sometimes because he's like, he thinks he's like a lion, but he's actually a Chihuahua.
Is he a Chihuahua? Yeah, he's a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
He's
Come on,
oh, there he is. Oh my goodness. He's really
Royce,
fast.
don't lick yourself all day. You buy a dog, they don't say the dog's going to lick himself all day.
Yeah, I know. I know. Dogs don't live in the same world we live in. I think their life is better, though. I really do think their life is better. It's a cool life they live.
Anyways, good boy. So, Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's great to talk to you today.
Thank you. Okay, are you recording this?
I wish I can delete all this if you don't want it in here.
No, this is lovely.
I think it should be in here too. I like real. I don't like fake stuff. So I wish I had my dog in here. He's out on the front porch barking at people walking by right now. But he's so great. I just love him. His name's Blue. And oh man, I tell you what, it's been a long time since I've connected like that. And just having a dog is, I don't know, it's just the greatest thing. I want to take him everywhere.
Well, I never was a dog person or a cat person, but when I bought the doggy about 6 months ago, it was the best decision. Because the kids check with me, oh, did you feed the dog? And they're at the right age to care about somebody other than themselves.
Yeah. That's a great point. All right, so Mina, tell us, everybody who's listening and watching, where are you right now? So what city, what country, where are you at?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris, for contacting me as well. I live in Burlington, which is in Ontario. It's outside of Toronto and Mississauga, and Burlington's an amazing town, and I can really get a lot done out here because there is a culture of caring. Mm-hmm. So when I call people, some people love me, some people not so much, but everyone takes my call.
Well, that's the way it is. That's okay. That's life. Some people are onto it, some aren't.
Yeah.
So Burlington, Burlington, when I hear the word Burlington, I think of Burlington Coat Factory. Is that in a different place besides Canada? That's in Vermont, isn't it?
You're right. Okay. Burlington Coat, you are correct. It's not in, I don't even think it's in Burlington.
And is it true that all y'all do is sit around and make maple syrup all day, or is there something else you do in Canada besides make maple syrup?
Canada, oh God, we're very proud. We're very, I find, what's the word? Altruistic? Mm-hmm. Like, Canadians in general, they will help. Yeah. You just have to tell them what's going on. If they don't know about it, they work hard. We don't have snow yet. It's already December. It's a bit of a surprise, but.
And are the days, for somebody who's never lived near a pole, if you live in the middle of the globe somewhere, are the days really, really short right now and lots of dark?
Yeah, it's dark by 5 o'clock now. But in the summer, it's still light by 6:30, and the kids are out playing on the street. And yeah, but right now with the time change, we lost an hour. So by 5, it's dark. It's a little, yeah, it's hard on some people actually. So
I bet, yeah. I know. I don't think I can handle any more dark hours. I like the sunshine. It makes me feel better.
that's for sure. And there's a light you can get too. There's some kind of light.
Yeah.
If you have,
I've heard about that. Like it gives you vitamin D, and it kind of gives you the stuff that the sun gives you that makes you feel better. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Does it give you an awesome tan? Because I could use a tanning light all the time. That'd be great.
I don't think it does the tan thing, but yeah.
So
okay.
we contacted you because you were running or still running the executive director and founder of Compassion Society, a nonprofit organization that assists in the growth of a generous community of people who help one another to lead improved lives. Now,
Yes.
you and I have talked once before, and you've told me a little about this organization. So give me a little more background about what this organization does, and then we'll get to the 5 questions, which are all about you, not the organization.
And I haven't even opened that female email, so I don't even know what it is. Okay, I kind of run off the seat of my pants sometimes. You guys can guess that.
I think it's way more fun.
So Compassion Society started in the basement of my house. My neighbors were moving, and they gave me 3 bags of clothes. Wait, don't start now. Don't start. Hey, okay. So my neighbor said, "Could you use it?" I said, "I'll use what I can, and then I'll give on to some other people." And I had a rack in the basement. I hung all the clothes and started telling people, "Oh, I have like pants for your son," and it very quickly it grew a life of its own. And every morning I'd open up and there'd be like a bag with clothes or maybe a few books. And so 1 rack became 2 racks, became 3 racks, and it grew a little life of its own. I'd help people if they didn't speak good English, or some people they can't write. So they'd get something from the government and they'd be freaking out like, "Oh my God, Mina, what is this? It's from the government." And they'd be so upset. And I said, "No, they just want to confirm somebody's birth date." And it took me like 5 minutes to help. Like sometimes it's so easy to help someone, but it means so much to them.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And then, through the years, there's a church. It's Forest View Church Without Walls. That's on Dundas.
Cool.
And they helped us become a charity. They actually paid for the lawyer. They paid for a lot of paperwork, and they guided. I'm not university educated, so Paul Miller is a staff member there, and they guided the charity to be as strong as it is today.
That's great. That's really great. I think it's a really cool vision, and one that just kind of happened. I love that kind of story where it just like, whoa, look at that. It turned into something of its own. I think that's the way, that means you really have a community engaged. When it takes a life of its own, it's the real
And the
thing.
volunteers, we had a volunteer for 5 years. We have Carol. Carol's with us 5 or 6 years. Now she's on the board of directors. And she kind of represents the volunteers, if they have any, they don't really have concerns, but suggestions.
Yeah.
And, and Roger and everyone brings their grandchildren. Oh, it's like a beehive. It's a crazy beehive, but people are getting food and clothes, and there's a lot of hugs. There's a lot of hugs. And I don't think every charity has the hug part.
You're right.
I'd be working on some paperwork, and some kids would come to my desk, and I'd say, "Oh, do you like Spider-Man?" They'd say, "Yes." I'd print some Spider-Man and let them go color. And then when they left, we put it on the front door.
It's so awesome.
It's so awesome. So it's just natural. And my volunteers are the best volunteers in the world. Sorry to say that, but and my board of directors are also volunteers, and they are outstanding with their dedication.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Love it. Okay, well, you get to answer the questions. So
One second. Okay, hold on. Oh my God. Just don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. Hold on one second. Just stand by. Okay.
Standing by.
Hey. Hello. I don't want the dog to get out. There you go. Okay, this is for you.
Yep.
Okay. And oh my God. Get the dog. Oh. Okay, you got him?
Yep.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I'll see you later. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I want money from like a week, and then I'm like, okay, come get it.
I love that. That's really fun.
So go ahead. Yeah.
I love interviewing real people, and the real life stuff that pops in is, I don't know. I could probably watch 30 minutes of just real life stuff and skip the whole interview. It's way more entertaining.
I'm a little bit too real for people, and
Hey.
sometimes I ran for city council out here in Burlington, and you have to be careful because not everybody, they say they want the truth, but sometimes the truth is so painful or it's inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
So where was I going there, Chris?
I was saying I like real, and the real, sometimes people
real.
don't like too much real. But I tell you what, if you're real, you're in the right spot, because this is an extremely real place to be.
Okay. Excellent. Okay.
All right, I'm going to ask you these 5 questions. So we asked the same 5 questions to about 1,000 people. Not about. We're going to asking 1,000 people exactly from all over the globe, and so you're a representative for 8 million people. All right, that's really cool. One out of every 8 million people get to be on the survey, and that's how it turns out to be 1,000. It's really fun. So anyway, we'll figure out what that 8 million people are like here in a minute as you go on. So there's a lot of people like each one of us. Everybody feels like sometimes that we're the only ones in our situation, but it turns out in real life there's a lot of people in our situation, and there's a community out there, and you're not alone. So question 1.
Okay.
What is your favorite quote about hope, or your belief about hope, or a, I don't know, the way you would phrase what you think or believe about hope?
Hope. Hope can be a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes I speak at churches or universities or colleges. There is one thing I keep saying, and it is actually from the Bible. It's whatever you do to the least of my children, you do unto me.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I see an opportunity to help, I do it, because one day I'm going to be old and I'm going to be weak, and I kind of believe in karma, and it's just natural. If something happens, I have to help. I'm hardwired. And I just hope. Hope is, when you're in a particular situation, sometimes it's hard to find hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've had a pretty dark year. I haven't worked this year, actually. In the charity, I became a board member because I was running for council. So that was late last year. So I ran for council. I did not succeed, but it was a great experience.
Good. Yeah.
In January, I fell. I broke my arm and I hit my head. Oh. And since then, I have really bad memory, and I have a lot of organization problems. And so it's been a real struggle. I have 3 children, and I have no financial support. So this has been a very hard year, and I struggled to find hope. There was some dark times. There was 4 times this year that were very, very dark, if people know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. I've been there where you kind of want to end it at times. Yeah. So I appreciate you being so authentic and real, by the way. I really do. Some people we interview are in the middle of a tough time. Some people are past the tough time, and some people are wise enough to know that just because they feel like they're past it for a moment doesn't mean it's, a hard day still comes around every now and then. So
they do pop up.
Yeah, they do.
I was in a severe depression for about 10 months. Mm-hmm. The end of October, it did seem to lighten a bit. Mm-hmm. And thank God, it's not as hard as it was. I don't want to go back to where that was. That was I try to keep it together for my kids, but sometimes just the sadness and the weight. So yes, as we discussed in our other phone call, this year I've struggled with the dark thoughts, and thank God I had this doggy, because when you start thinking about finishing off things, I'm just
I understand.
Yeah.
It is having a dog or a child or another friend, somebody to love, and a reason to be here for someone beside yourself.
Right. That can stop you from doing something very drastic. Yeah. And I do want to say, I'm not even prepared for this, but if anyone listening has ever experienced a family member or a friend that took their own life, I would just say, please forgive them. Please forgive them, because the pain is excruciating. I can't even describe the pain of the depression. I can't find a word for it. And when you want to end your life, it's in response to the pain. We're not being selfish. We don't want attention, and just the pain. Just the pain is. You see? So if you want to kill yourself, you got the dog to look after.
Yeah. Who's going to let the dog out?
Yeah, right. No, it's but you know what? My oldest daughter, Sarah, is an angel. She's helped me through a lot. I think of her. I think of how good she is. And then there was another. During the 4 darkest times, I did have to, I guess, maybe self-medicate. That might be a way to put it.
Yeah, I get that. Been there, done that. Still there every now and then myself. It's not a pretty easy walk. It really isn't. It's messy.
You never know when it's coming, too. You never know when it's coming, and when it hits you, it can hit you very hard. But I thank God. A good friend of mine, Paul Miller, I just mentioned earlier, I called him one day and I said, Paul, I can't take it anymore. I just can't take it. I don't understand all this pain. I just don't understand it. And he mentioned that the preacher at his church, his son died of cancer. And I believe he was a teenager.
Wow.
And I thought, oh my God, I think I have problems. It kind of adjusted me a little. And also, there are children in McMaster and in Sick Kids in Toronto. McMaster's in Hamilton. There are children on a cancer ward who are dying.
Yeah.
And they are begging for their last breath. And I'm so selfish to think I can take my own life. That's very selfish. So I feel, in honor of anyone who's on their last day of their life and begging for life, and it's not my right to take my own life. And I'd mess up my kids too. So
yeah. I know. I feel the same way. I feel the same way about everything you just said. It's a great way to view it. There is so much more for each of us to do out there that we don't know about. We don't know our future yet.
Day by day.
Day by day. I know.
I live every day like it's my last.
But I know I'm here for a reason. I know you're here for a reason. And I'm glad you're here today, because I need to talk to you. That's for sure. Somebody needs to talk to you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And same for me. So tell me this. Question 2. Who has shared hope with you in your past?
Shared hope with me? My sister. My sister, she's a teacher. She teaches Irish dance as well in Toronto.
Oh, fun.
And she has tried. She doesn't really understand what I'm going through, and probably it's a little frustrating, but she'll call me like, how are you doing, Mina? She tries to keep in touch. And sometimes with the depression, she'd call like all week. I wouldn't answer her. Finally one day, because what can I say? Hey, yeah, I'm depressed. I have no money. They just cut the hydro. Finally when I talked to her, I'd say, hey, I was super busy. Like, hey, And I don't want to bring her down either. But my sister Dimna, she did in her own way with her experience in life. And I really, my sister she tried to be there for me in her way. And I appreciate that. And yeah.
That's perfect. Good answer.
Okay.
And question 3, you may have already answered. Question 3 is, tell us about a time in your life when you've really needed to rely on hope to get through something tough. You just told us about a situation. So I'm not trying to make you dive in any deeper than you want to, but the reason that question is there is so people listening who don't get to literally be in the interview process like you and I are, it's just so important to know that somebody else has had a rough day too, and that they can get through it, and that we all can. We just have to keep moving forward and not give up and not expect. We can't expect that every day is going to be better than the last, because that's a great sentiment, but it's not real. You kind of go forward 2 steps, back 1 step, forward 2 steps, back 3 steps, forward 2 steps, forward 2 steps, forward 2 steps, back 5 steps. It comes and goes. But it's about moving forward, and it's about staying true to the process and not giving up. I think the people who've been through the hardest things and are still trucking away at it, honestly, are the strongest people on the planet. It's not the people born with a silver spoon. They're like, oh, yeah, I did all this stuff. I'm like, well, you never had to try,
Yeah. My car's falling apart, like falling to pieces. And one of my daughter's friends turned 16 and she just got a car. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God, oh, anyway, that's okay. Doesn't happen all the time. I have a couple of sayings though. My one is, I call it fake it till you make it. It's not sexual, but it's, sometimes when I'm feeling down, I do pretend a lot. Mm-hmm. Hey Mina, how is it going? Oh yeah, it's okay. Another day in paradise, I like to say. But sometimes I really fake it. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes if you pretend to be in a good mood, it can kind of change. It can lighten you slightly.
Mm-hmm, it can, yeah.
Thank God I have pills I take in the morning. They save my life. Mm-hmm. So there's several options for there's medical. There's also group. Sitting with a group.
Yeah.
That's not my bag. I don't really like the group thing, but and boy, oh boy, I had a big fight with God. Mm-hmm. Big fight.
Fair enough.
Twice in 1 week, I said, God, you're not supposed to give anyone more than they can handle. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't handle this anymore. And a few days later, I actually met someone, and they are so nice to me. And I can't even believe it. I just, I don't know if that's an angel or what, but
that's great.
But yeah, I've had some big fights with God, and he really doesn't deserve it. Kind of lashed out at him a little bit too, but he's a merciful God, so I think we're okay.
Somebody told me one time, and I've struggled back and forth with my beliefs about God and relationship with God, and so many ways that comes and goes for lots of people, but I kind of ditched the whole God thing for a while there, and then felt guilty about it, because you just gotta fight through that. No matter what your religious background is, you have to fight through that, and eventually you question things. But they said, if he's really out there, and he's really big enough to create the world or whatever you believe he's done, then he's probably able to handle a little bit of an argument from you. It's a good point. He's tough enough for that. He can handle it.
We're like kids to God. Yeah. And I don't want to get a bunch of phone calls like Mina, but
I know I'm not trying to be flippant towards anybody's belief and sincerity towards him. I'm just saying it's important to know that you can ask questions and you can get answers, and it's okay.
Yeah, but actually, another thing, back 100 years ago, like, life was very different. Mm-hmm. People went to church on Sundays. Mm-hmm. If they had a problem, they talked to their pastor. Yep. Okay? There was some prayer, probably meditation. I remember, my background is Irish. I remember my neighbors, and I just remember a lot of, people would have dinner at 5 and 6 o'clock. They'd read the Bible, and a half an hour. I remember some people singing hymns in their car, going somewhere. There was a lot of praise. There was a lot of belief and faith. And I think now we've gotten so busy, we don't know what the hell we're doing anymore. So, but we got too much stuff, and we just need to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just need to slow down a little bit.
You're right. I know you are. If you're listening to this interview, you really need to switch over and watch this thing on YouTube. That way you can see Mina's expressions, because she's so fun.
Oh my gosh.
Sitting here talking about God and all that, and then she drops hell in there, and she's like, "Whoop, oh no."
I do make some faux pas, and in Burlington, a few years ago, I won Burlington Citizen of the Year, and really? I thought it was a prank call.
That's awesome! Look at you.
I said,
Citizen of the Year. Come on.
Oh, it's Mr. Baker's. I said, "Come on!" I said, "Jessica, is that your boyfriend?" Anyway, but you know what? I'm so honored with Burlington, and I just love it. It's so easy to get things done here, because I just ask people. I say, "I'm doing this. Are you in or are you out?" That's all I want to know. And if you're out, you'll probably see me in 6 months with something else I'm doing. And
yeah.
By the way, can I plug something quickly?
Yeah.
So my Facebook is Mina Wahidi. Facebook, Mina Wahidi. There's a family I know for 3.5 years. The daughter has cancer, and she's had a very difficult time. 70 weeks of chemotherapy, 70.
Wow. Please
go to my Facebook. There's a GoFundMe page. The dad was always at the hospital, so he was basically let go from his job. So the last time she was in hospital, I sat in that small room, and the pain and the sorrow, and I said, I've got to help this family. So please go to Mina Wahidi Facebook. I friend everybody, and she's a beautiful girl. Wait till you see the photo, and you're just going to fall in love with her.
Okay.
And Saturday we have a big book sale, but if you're in Africa, I don't think you can make it. So just send a GoFundMe, like $5, $10. It's all good.
Okay, great.
Good.
Thank you. That's awesome. We're going to have, so your Facebook page there, do you have a website, other social media accounts? Because we want to make sure we put all those links on the page for the interview here. You don't have to.
I love email. I love email, minawahidi@hotmail.com. I love, I'm always putting stuff on Facebook. Hey, I was looking for a wheelchair a few weeks ago. I got in 2 wheelchairs. So it's just really, people care, but they just want to know what's going on. You have to inform people what's going on. And, yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, question 4. How are you sharing hope today? Obviously, you just told us how you're sharing hope today. I mean, you're answering the questions before we even get to them. Amazing. Okay.
Hope. Okay, so I guess I'd have to switch to the year that I've been through. And I just wish I had prepared for this. I've been so busy.
Oh, no, you're doing great.
Yeah. Just anyone who feels this darkness, and unless you've been there, you won't know what it is. But don't do it. Just all I have to say is don't do it. Yeah. Because you have so much potential, and God is carrying you. Even though you think you're alone, He is there. He's just carrying you, and you just can't see it. But and then, like I say, Chihuahuas, I hope the sales of Chihuahuas go way up, because they're the most lovable dog.
Oh.
And they'll snuggle with you, and they're a little annoying, but you know what? When you're really, really depressed and you're thinking how you're going to kill yourself, and then you got this dog jumping all over you, you're like, you really get distracted. But there is a course I took, which was excellent. It's a 2-day course through Canadian Mental Health Association. It's called Assist, ASSIST.
Okay.
2-day excellent course. Very, I've used more than I learned from that course. When somebody makes a comment like, I shouldn't be here today, I wish I wasn't here. The food bank I ran, a lady came in, she said, oh, like, I really shouldn't be here today. And I said, I didn't have to answer, right? I said, well, why shouldn't you be here? And she said, oh, well, I took a bunch of pills last night but I just woke up really sick. And I did not let her leave because first of all, she lives alone.
Yeah.
I did not let her leave. I said, can I bring you to the hospital? Because I'm not a professional, but I want you to get some kind of help. I said, I'm going to worry about you unless you're somewhere really safe. And there's been a few people who are brought to the hospital, and it is a bit of a, what do you call a spinning door? What do you call those doors that spin?
A rotating door?
Yeah.
That's what I call them. Yeah, where you go around in circles. It's I know what you mean. Yeah, like fancy hotels have. You go around, yeah.
Yeah. And I found a lot of people were out, and I said, okay, so what's your treatment? And I just was like, or they'd call me and I'd say, wow, you're out already? Like, we were just there. Because I'd say, call me, let me know, keep me posted. So there is, with mental health, there is a crisis. It's not a cop-out. I used to think some in the back of my mind, I would never say it, but I think some mental health was a bit of a cop-out. So maybe this is a lesson. When I got the severe depression, it's like, hey, it's debilitating. It is debilitating. It's like a bag of coal right on you. It takes your breath. It takes your energy. It takes your soul. It takes your soul away. Where was I, Chris? Where was I?
We were talking about how you're sharing hope with others, and Mina, you are doing it right now.
I'm not sure with my.
You're doing it right now.
Not the same person.
So no, for real, I have been there for sure, way more times than I want to be there, where it's been just all I could do not to end it. I mean, just hanging on by my fingernails, and it's the fact that I've had others around me, or kids, or a dog, and it sounds silly and so trite to say a dog, but if having someone else who relies on me and I can't go away because they need me, and even if it's just need me to help pay the bills or for emotional support, they need me somehow. It helps. Or some days I haven't had that in my mind. It's been, I'm just not going to give up. I've got to kick this thing in the ass. I don't know how else to say it, but it's debilitating, and it's not like, oh, I'm going to get it. So I just get up that day and shake off the feelings of suicide and get back out there after it. It doesn't work that way. It can take days and weeks and months to get back up where you can just breathe a little bit. But if you can't give up. You have to move forward. It's not all that uncommon, unfortunately, for people to feel this way. I wish it was less common, just because it's not a nice feeling for anybody to have. But people don't talk about it very much because they feel shame. And what is my boss going to say? Or what will my partner say? Or, will my family think I'm crazy?
Yeah.
So you have a tendency to be depressed. I do. And so sometimes that gets really dark, and I have to go talk to some people who can help me, either a professional or friends, family support, or I just need to start journaling or writing, or I need to go for a walk or whatever. It's worth sticking around for.
And walking. Yeah. That's another thing. I remember one morning I was like, it was really bad. Like I don't even want to tell you. Anyway, I ended up taking the dog for a walk, and it was really good. It's just, once again, I was talking to Paul from the church, And I said, Paul, all this pain, I don't understand it. But then I thought about it. The process of a woman giving birth, like the labor, the pains.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, maybe this is part of me. This is part of me growing. Like, this pain is now the pain is eased. It's kind of like giving birth to a baby. I don't know. I think I'm way off here now. They don't think I'm crazy, but
no, I don't think you are.
With pain, just for there to be a rebirth, there has to be some trials and tribulations, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
God was actually the very last one that I not contacted, but at the very end, like God is the one that I actually ended up saying, you know what, you're the only one that can help me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, please ease the pain. And eventually, it took some time, but he did. So I had 10 months I've been out of it for about 1 month now. So
good for you. Good for you.
Every day is a battle.
Every day is a battle. Every day is. So just to go over a few things for people who are listening or watching, because I think I know there's a lot of people who struggle with this and aren't free enough to talk about it. A few things you need to do that I'm sure Mina and I both have experienced is if you're struggling with suicidal tendencies and you're really going down that rabbit hole, you need to pull out. You need to talk to somebody. There's a couple things simple. Reach out and talk to somebody. Tell them what you're thinking and feeling, because just sharing a little bit helps take a little bit of the pressure off. Mm-hmm. Change your activity. So if you're sitting on the couch or in the car or laying in bed or whatever, and you just can't get up, just change something that's going on around you physically, like going for a walk, flipping on the lights, walking back and forth across your house 10 times intentionally just to do it. Because sometimes changing that physical activity just triggers something in our head. It doesn't take away months of depression, but it takes the edge off that moment where it's really going to get to be scary.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Take the edge off that moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so important. Talking to somebody, doing something new physically just for a moment really helps. And then finding that pattern for yourself. So for me, I can literally sit around in my car for hours when I should be doing something else in life, work, picking up kids, whatever, and just be in a slump and can't shake it. And then my phone will ring and I talk to somebody for 5 minutes, not even about depression, just about work. And all of a sudden I feel better because I just changed the pattern. So find the pattern for you and go back to that and hit that reset button as many times as you need to, because you need to keep doing that, to keep building that track, to just stay away from the cliff, so to speak. You don't want to get too close to the cliff. But we all find ourselves there at some point, so just know how to get out from away from that cliff,
Actually, one more thing I'd if I could mention. So, first of all, back, 100, 150 years ago, usually the phrase used is, so-and-so tried to commit suicide. Okay, mm-hmm. or so-and-so did commit suicide. So commit has kind of a criminal aspect to it.
Good point.
Word commit.
Yeah.
So-and-so committed suicide, and it's actually somebody who is trying to end their life. It's very serious. Mm-hmm. I would say to anybody out there, if you start planning your suicide, first of all, that's if you say, okay, I have pills, mm-hmm. I've got the gun down in the basement. Get rid of those. When you have a sane moment, get it out. Mm-hmm. Because if you start planning it, that's one thing. Then if you start thinking about when you're going to execute it, it's when you start planning, that's really not good. And once again, I did take that course 2 years ago. Worth it. I'm just there's a great suicide prevention course. It's 2 days.
What's the name of that course and the organization again?
It's CAMH. It's Canadian Mental Health Association. Mm-hmm. So CMH. They have a website, and the course is a 2-day. I believe it's called Assist, ASSIST. Fantastic if you work with the public. I ran a charity. I would click on some things people said, and it's a difficult conversation. It's difficult, when somebody says something, you say, "Oh, what did you mean by that?" And then they give you an answer, and you say, "Well, are you planning it? Like, do you have a plan?" "Yes, yeah. Well, we have a shotgun in the garage. Blah blah blah." Mm-hmm. So you already know that how far along in the process. Then I part of the training is, have you done this before? Mm-hmm. Okay, because there's a higher alert level.
Right.
Yeah, I tried it 3 years ago. I tried it a month ago. I tried it yesterday. Mm-hmm. So one is if there's a plan. Number two, if they can do it. Mm-hmm. You can't shoot yourself if you don't have a gun. So is there a plan? Do you have the tools? And have you done it before? And then if they have, there's even a higher chance that it could happen. So just take care. You have to take care of yourself, because nobody else is going to. Chris, swear to God, really, nobody else is going to take care of you. Like, I'm a single mom with 3 children, but if you're in a relationship, a supportive relationship, that's really good. Like, that person is like gold to you.
Sure. But people fail, and you have to be strong on your own, because sometimes even the person you think won't fail will still, they do.
You are the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good advice. It really is, Mina. I appreciate you being so authentic, and I appreciate, honestly, I've never taken a course like that, but that's a really good course, and you
Fantastic.
Have a wealth of knowledge. Yeah. On that note, if you're not in Canada, you might not be able to reach out to the organization Mina's talking about, but they're almost everywhere in the world. I've seen this all over the world. There's usually a hotline or something in your country, just the National Health Services have. So if you just Google or search online for suicide prevention or suicide hotline or something like that, you'll find a help number in your area. And if you think, oh, but I don't want to call and give them my name, or what if they find out who I am? Forget that. Give them a fake name. I mean, talk to somebody. Just pick up the phone, make the call, and get that on track. It's worth it. And if you know somebody who's struggling, make sure you're reaching out to them and checking in on them every now and then, and make sure they're okay.
And I tend to dwell on the past. I had a very difficult upbringing. My mother was actually, she wasn't diagnosed until she was 65, but she was a manic bipolar. Oh, wow. So growing up with somebody so like in bed for 3 days, and then the 4th day running around like crazy. And, I was the oldest child, so trust me, I was in a lot of difficult situations, but my mom, her quality of life, she was very tormented. And so in the end, I have to forgive her, because she kind of didn't know what she was doing. Mm-hmm. She didn't get medication till she was 65.
Wow. So yeah.
Her quality of life, and she really struggled, and, she had suicide issues, but, sometimes you read in the paper somebody died suddenly. Quite often when it's suicide, it is not addressed as suicide.
Right. They don't say that in the paper. Yeah.
The stats on suicide, I know in Northern Ontario, Northern Canada, are very high. The real stats are not out there. I was a volunteer with Peel Regional Police for 4 years. I was an auxiliary officer. And I witnessed situations where we were called to a house, and there had been a death. And if you see somebody hanging from a rope, or it's,
Yeah. It's not just a natural cause.
But then when you find, sometimes it's not even addressed. So-and-so died suddenly, and the funeral is
right
at such and such place.
Yeah.
And, but then sometimes when you give people too much information, they might say, well, oh, maybe that was their way out. Maybe it's an option for me. So that's why they have to be very careful with suicide statistics.
I understand.
I think if we knew how high it was at times, we might say, oh my God, like, Look at people, military. Look at military who've gone overseas. We had a gentleman who came from another city and came to Burlington, and he killed himself there. What was my point there? What was my point?
The point is, it's more common than we know, and people don't really say when it happens.
Yes. So it never hit the paper. It never, there was nothing about it, and it was quite a scene. It was at a local little hotel, and it was quite a scene. So for it to not get out anywhere, I was a bit surprised. But it's bad news, and people don't want bad news. They don't want to know that someone, one person a day tries to commit suicide, and then, see, I said it, commit. See?
It's hard not to, I know. But what's important in what you're saying is so it's a big number and bigger than we probably think or know. But to me, that doesn't encourage me to go out and say, well, I want to be one of those numbers. What it does some days, sure. But what it does most days for me is it lets me know I'm not alone. I'm not the only person in the room who thinks, well, this is so hard, I'm not sure I can take it. And there are other people out there fighting to make life worth living. And I'm going to be one of those people too. And that's where I end up with that. And some days I'm not as clear as I just was on it's worth it. But on the days when I'm clear, I write it down and I review my notes on the hard days.
Yeah. Well, when you start writing notes, you can read some crazy stuff. A
pastor that I heard growing up when I was a kid, he said, never doubt in the dark what you've seen in the light. So if it's a dark day, but you remember back seeing, hey, in the light on a good day, it was okay, and here's why. When the dark day comes, don't go back and re-question it all when you're blind and you can't feel anything. Just wait that one out. Get back to where you were in the light, and then look at it again. Because when you're in the middle of a dark closet and you can't feel your way through anything, it's a really bad time to be making life-altering decisions, Really is.
I just want to touch on this. I notice myself doing this. If you have depression, severe depression, you tend to what do you call it, Chris? When you don't answer the phone. You get yourself like you don't talk to anybody, and
you isolate yourself. It's isolation.
Isolate. Thank you, sir. Give this man a prize. Isolate. As you isolate yourself, and then one Saturday you'll be feeling great and like, oh well, nobody's calling me, and what's happening? So and I noticed I kind of did it to myself. So try to keep in touch with your friends, even though, because there was a time I just isolated myself so much that I kind of had lost touch. So I made it worse on myself. But also here in Canada, we have a new government. It's the Trudeau government. So there is, they're working on legalization of marijuana. And I have intimate knowledge of a lady in a very similar situation than myself. The 4 times this year that she really was going to go through with killing herself, she did partake of marijuana. She smoked a joint. And
it took the edge off.
It brings just a calmness. And I don't know, she did it, so
it's becoming more and more legal in the U.S. as well, and it has its purposes. It's a chemical like taking a Tylenol, having a drink, or taking something for cancer. All those are chemicals, and they can be used in healthy ways and unhealthy ways. And I think that's great if it helps somebody through a hard time. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I think it's got a 4-hour, from you smoke a joint. I think you've got about 3 to 4 hours that it's active in your body.
Sure.
And that just gives you time to.
Step back and look at it.
So I would say to anybody, if you're going to do it and you're decided and that's it, and you're going to move forward with it, slow down and have a puff of something. It saved my friend's life 4 times in 1 year. And
it's great. I think it's a pretty easy argument to make that if you're deciding, oh, I don't want to smoke marijuana because I've never done it, what people think, or I'm going to go out and end my life, I'd say, let's go with the marijuana. That's if you're gonna choose one or the other, let's try out the joint. So no problem at all there. What's great to do is also be involved with a professional. There's lots of great counselors for free or for paid out there in the world, and with all those things, there's some great medications and great things we can do, and marijuana could be part of that. That is just a thing you want to do under some supervision to make sure you're not creating another problem in your life. And that's obviously just common sense. So I think it's all great.
Sometimes you have to advocate for yourself. I know the first 6 months, I reached out. I really reached out. I was on unemployment. I was on it's called Ontario Works. My worker was fantastic, but I had some memory problems, and she'd need paperwork in, and I'd get it in late. And she said, Mina, you're not, from your resume, you don't seem to have the same skills you used to. But you must advocate for yourself. And she offered a social worker to me. And Oliver has been, I mean, you got to get someone you're going to click with. Yeah. So keep finding a counselor or a social worker or someone at a church. I've talked to 10 people. I've connected with about 2, but it took me months. I have a social worker. It took me 6 months to find him, to be introduced to him, to connect with him. And this guy is a support and an alliance.
That's awesome.
I also have, I think she's a psychotherapist. I meet her about once a week now. And I feel I'm changing some of my behavior.
Awesome.
I'm learning. So knowledge is power. If you don't know, you don't know. But if somebody teaches you, then you can get more power over yourself. Every day is a gift from God. Every day is a gift. When you're strong, I believe it's our duty to serve. That's why we're in this world that we are. I serve. That's my worship. That's my worship to God. Okay, that's somebody else. I'm going to get rid of them. Okay. But anyway, I'm happy to answer. I love emails. I get back to them. MinaWahidi@hotmail.com. I'm happy to answer any, negative, positive.
Awesome.
I've been a little bit in politics, so I kind of know how it goes. Bad news, good news, give it all to me. And if there's a serious question, I will answer it with my heart.
Love that. And Facebook is Mina Wahidi as well. So Mina Wahidi, I'm going to spell that just in case anybody doesn't know how to spell your name. It's Mina.
Oh, okay.
And then Wahidi is Wahidi. So Mina
Wahidi. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Mina. Ding.
Yep.
Can't spell my own name. Okay, hold on. Bing, 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 bing. Facebook.
Mina Wahidi at hotmail.com is your email.
Okay, here's a photo of this little sweetie. Can you see any of this here?
Yeah, absolutely. There it is. Yes.
So I don't know what you can see. Okay, I'm going to keep it still for a minute. So,
yep.
It's me, it's my kids, and this little Alexandria.
Oh, sweet.
3.5 years old. What a beauty. Oh, my God. There we are. Oh, there she is.
She's beautiful.
She's a little fighter, and she's been through more than any adult I've known with hospital visits and surgeries.
I'm so glad you're staying connected to her.
Ding, ding.
Okay. So we have to go because I have another interview coming up, and I record all these in one day a week. So it's been a privilege. I mean that sincerely. It's been a privilege talking to you. I mean, this is our second time to talk. And I just love hearing from you. I love your real life style, and I really appreciate you being so authentic. It encourages me because I don't know, sometimes when everybody's too polished or perfect, I know you're not telling me the truth, and thanks for being real.
Yeah, I am what I am. I just try to, when I ran for council, I have some friends, and I said, like, how, because they were politicians, and I said, how should I do it? And they said, Mina, just be yourself, and just you be honest, be authentic, and you are who you are. And you don't always win the first time. Elections are difficult, but I learned so much. I have so much respect for municipal government, mayors and councillors.
Yeah.
It's I have a lot of respect, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get the job because I would have been overwhelmed.
Sure. It might not have been the right year, but you'll get to do another year.
Yeah, you never know. There's different ways to serve.
Yeah.
And I'm a member of Rotary Burlington Lakeshore.
Yeah.
And Rotary, to anyone listening, if you want to help your community, go for a Rotary meeting. It's free. You get like a free dinner, free lunch. Say, Mina sent me. If you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, or anywhere in the world, find your local Rotary. Look it up online. Just put in Rotary and go to one meeting. Rotary does so much work, provides so much hope locally and internationally. So please look that up.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm always plugging something.
I love it. You're plugging good stuff, though. That's a good thing.
Okay,
Mina,
thank you.
It's a privilege.
What an honor. And thank you for everybody. And email me anytime, everybody. I will get back to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, cheers.
Bye,
Cheers.
Mina.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Mina Wahidi is a great person to talk to. She's honest and real. I really do appreciate your time, Mina. Thanks for being so authentic. It's unusual and it's refreshing. It really is. So, a lot of stuff in that episode. If you feel like you're in some dark days, it's okay. It's okay to have those feelings. It's not a bad thing. It's just real. And you need to be honest and need to get out there and maybe reach out to somebody. There's a lot of professional counselors out there who can help. There's hotlines you can call, again, like we've mentioned before. If you're having suicidal thoughts or tendencies or know somebody who is, reach out, talk to somebody. It's worth it. It's a little bit scary to make that first call, but it's very, very worth it. There's help out there and you can get through it. I'm sure you can. And getting out and getting some activity, getting to talk to somebody, resetting a few habits in your life, those are all great things. But it really does take a little bit of hand-holding in the process sometimes from a friend, a family member, or a professional. And if you have resources to use towards getting a professional or not, there's always somebody out there who can help. There's some great people out there for free and for paid services. So reach out and get some help. We're going to have some more links about Mina on our website, isharehope.com. You can also jump in the conversation at Chris Williams HQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you hang out, YouTube. That's my handle. So would love to catch up. So if that's something that you've dealt with in the past, if those dark, depressed days and some thoughts about taking your own life have been part of your story, I'd love to hear about that. Share what's going on. How have you gotten through it? Or what's going on now? If you're not quite through it, what's going on now? And love to reach out. Maybe we can point you in the right direction. All right. Thanks. Enjoy your afternoon. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
You've just listened to I Share Hope. If you're ready to make a change, head to our website at isharehope.com and claim your free copy of the Top 10 Actions of Hope from World Leaders to use hope in your own life. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.